Good morning, bonjour, ni hao, sin ciao, what's up? It's me, Mr. Jordan. Today we're going to be looking at chapter 18 of The Handmaid's Tale. We'll start with a brief recap and summary, then we'll get into a close line-by-line reading and some more in-depth analysis. Finally, we'll finish up with vocabulary, definitions, and context for the chapter. Brief recap and summary. Offred lies in bed, pondering her ex-lover, Luke, and whether he's still alive and still exists in Gilead. She imagines a number of different scenarios for him, so that he could be shot down and dead, that he could be on the run somewhere out there in Gilead alone, that he could be trapped in a jail cell and being tortured like a political prisoner, or finally, that he could be an active part of a resistance, of some sort of underground movement or rebellion. She's keeping hope alive. Atwood starts this chapter with, "I lie in bed." And at this point, honestly, it's getting a bit redundant. She's playing with this sense of being bored, of Offred being bored, of her being sedentary, being flesh, being a pig fattening in bed that has nothing to do. And frankly, as a reader, we're starting to get bored too. We're getting a little impatient, right? We finally got a little bit of action with the ceremony and then the invitation to the commander's room. And now we're back in bed. More nostalgia, more memory, more dullness. She tries to cut this boredom or non-inactive period with tension by telling us she's ready to shatter like a piece of glass, like the tone being played on the circle. Quote, "It's a lack of love we die from. All the people I love are dead or elsewhere. I too am a missing person." Here we really see she's losing her identity. She's no longer the woman she once was in America. She's a handmaid in a household in Gilead. Like her name, her identity is gone. It's disappeared. It's been muted. The body is so easily damaged, disposed of. Water and chemicals is all it is. Hardly more than a jellyfish dying on sand. Again here, a comparison to herself as an animal. She's trapped in the physical matter of her being, of her flesh. I think Offred's also getting at this idea that she's becoming invisible, right? This gauziness, this ethereality. She's evanescent, like a ghost in the mirror, the palimpsest of paper. Her life, accruing and being erased again as easily as history disappearing behind us. All that Offred has left now is her hope, and she tells us, in reduced circumstances, you have to believe all kinds of things. I believe in through transference now, vibrations in ether, that sort of junk I never used to. So she's pulling at strings here. She's hoping for magic. She's hoping for a literal miracle of sorts. This is what happens to the prisoners. They must believe. She has to believe that Luke's out there, or there's a resistance, or there's some sort of hope. Otherwise, she'll die in her body, right? Her mind will wither. Soon, she'll end up no better than Serena Joy, arthritic, trapped, and hobbled in her body. There's this idea of binary too, right? If she's at the darkest time, there must be the lightest time. If evil is in control, there must be a good to fight back. It's this sense of yin and yang, of negative versus positive charge. I think this gets to a greater ultimate belief, either of the narrator Offred or of Atwood herself, that there's some sort of higher existence, right? There's some sort of karmic law of energy, a balance in the universe. As Atwood writes, regardless of how, quote, this contradictory way of believing seems, there must be this deep subconscious good and evil, this subterranean underworld that Gilead is must be balanced by the higher ethereal plane. For all of the hate in the world, there must be love and hope to still exist. Finally, we'll finish with a little bit of vocabulary. Disembodied means to exist without the body. So this idea like of a soul existing outside of the body, or there not being a physical source for something, for it being only an abstract matter. So we're told that Luke's hair is nicked. So I think there's a simple wordplay here of comparing Luke to Nick. Also, the nick, which used to be slang in Britain for prison, being jailed, which she is, And then, of course, a cut or a notch, the idea of pain. Circumstances. The fact or event connected to the relevant action. An event or fact that causes or helps to cause something to happen, typically something undesirable. One's state of financial or material welfare. I think that's closer to what we're getting at here. I would say that it's like the nature of the situation, the context of the situation, the basis for the situations. So it comes from circumstare, which means to look around, right? So it's all of the things around the present state or event and how that context and surrounding environment affects the current, present moment. A new circumstance would be so hard to define. Resistance. So resistance here is the rebellion. It is to resist. It's to fight back. To refuse to comply. I will not participate. It's to reject these duties. It's to fight against the force. I mean, think about the classic Luke Skywalker meta-narrative, Joseph Campbell's myth with 1,000 faces here. Star Wars is telling the same story as the Bible. Atwood knows that. She's telling the same story as 1984, but she's also retelling the Old Testament with Leah and Rachel and Jacob. The stories are being cyclical. And the resistance is necessary. Binary, good, evil, heaven, hell, above ground, below ground. Thank you so much for watching. That's chapter 18. I hope you liked the video. I hope you comment below. Hope to see you again soon. Take care.